Hello everyone, happy Sunday, happy Sunday. Welcome to my Instagram live talk show, Tea Time with Dr. Iyabo. Welcome everyone. I have a little bit, some sniffles. I've had my flu shot. Yes, I've had my flu shot, but I think it's allergies. I have allergies all year round. If I don't take Zyrtec, those of you who are doctors on here, if I don't take my Zyrtec all year round and my Flonase sometimes, I'm just like coughing and sniffling. I just have really severe environmental allergies. You like my hair, Iyabo? Yes, I got cornrows. It's so easy, honestly. You guys know cornrows and braids, but I can't sit down. The thing about me is I can't sit down for tiny braids anymore. I think it's an age thing. So I just got 6 cornrows, 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's 2 in the back. Yeah, my friend Peace at Peace Soul Beauty, she did my braids for me. Hi everyone. Hello, Alexandria. Kofo, hi. Dr. Nina Loam, I think I saw you on here. Dr. Nina Loam, Marine, Janet Moore, everybody welcome. I'm so happy to see all of you here. Thanks so much, Iyabo, for always coming on. Thank you. Yeah, I can't sit down for tiny braids because you have to sit down to get the braids, then you have to take the braids out. It's like too much work. So I'll rock this for the next 2 to 3 weeks, and then I'll probably do it again or maybe wear my weave for some time. So welcome everybody. I think most of you who are on here know me well. So I'm going to wait till a few people join and then I'll introduce myself. But we've had a few cloudy, rainy days in Atlanta. So it's just been, I don't have my stepsons this weekend. So it's just me, my younger daughter, and my husband. So we've just been at home. Actually, I did some decluttering yesterday. We cleared out our garage because when we started living together after our wedding, we had so many boxes and stuff in the garage. So we did a whole decluttering thing yesterday. So at least we achieved that. But today is going to be this show, and then we're just going to like watch Netflix and movies all day. But anyway, welcome everybody. I'm just babbling on like I normally do. Welcome to my Instagram live talk show. Please message your friends, tell them to join us. This is going to be a very interesting session. I have Monica or Etuk. I hope I don't know how to pronounce her last name. I know it's a Nigerian last name, but I'm really looking forward to this episode because I'm having a conversation with one of my, well, I'll say younger sisters. I'm kind of like an auntie and older sister to many women out there, but I admire her so much. She's one of the few women, or many, I don't want to say few, many women that are entrepreneurs that I really admire out there. Marianne of Lennox Cupcakes is another one, Alexandra FW Style, Oyinda Mola, Peace of Peace Soul Beauty. There's so many of you out there that are doing wonderful work. And my goal is to convert many other women into entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurship, especially in the digital space, even though I'm 50 years old and I'm middle-aged, I know because I read so much, I read a lot and I network a lot. I know that entrepreneurship, mastering entrepreneurship and then doing it in the digital space is the future. I believe so. I may be wrong, but I believe so because, you know, all this Bitcoin and Ethereum and blockchain technology and entrepreneurship and all of this, it's a shift. There's a shift happening in the world. And that's why I called this, this show Shift with the Shifts, because the pandemic has really shifted our lives. But a lot of you who are on here are very spiritual. I know that, and it's good to be spiritual. But if you're spiritual, you probably know that there's more to this pandemic than meets the eye, right? You guys know that there's more to this pandemic than meets the eye. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more. I'm waiting for Monica to come on, but before she comes on, I'll just keep talking. I guess I should introduce myself now. So for those of you who don't know me, Brooklyn, Scotland. Hello, how are you? I'm not sure we've met before, but thank you. I can see all your comments. Thank you so much. So my name is Dr. Iyabo Webzo. I just got married in April of this year. My name used to be Okuobi, and then before then it used to be Ojikutu. Okay, Odd by Money is on here. Monica is here. I'm going to have her come in, and then I'll talk for a few minutes, and then we'll start our conversation because 1 hour goes by fast. Yes, hi Brooklyn, Scotland. Yes, we've never met. Is that your name, Brooklyn? Yeah, and are you from Scotland? Do you live in Scotland? Okay, let's see. Okay, so Monica is here. Let's bring Monica on, and everybody pray that technology cooperates today because sometimes it doesn't. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you so much for coming.
Right back. My pleasure.
I know. I know you're busy. We're both busy, but I think I'm suspecting you're a little busier than I am. Yeah, you probably are busier than I am. So thanks for making the time. I was just babbling like I normally do. So I'm going to finish my babbling and then I'll have you talk. So Brooklyn, actually, can everybody just tell us where you're from? Where you're talking from? Can you let us know where you are? We are both in Atlanta. Are you in Atlanta right now, Monica?
I am. I'm at home in Atlanta. I haven't really gone anywhere because of the pandemic. So.
Yes, yeah. I know. Well, you did go to Florida. You inspired me to go.
I did. I saw.
Yes. Yeah, that was
pretty
really
awesome.
Nice. Oh, yeah. Wow.
Did you enjoy it? You loved everything?
It was so amazing. We really needed that break. It was just nice. Yeah. It was really nice.
There's something about that being in Alice that makes you just want to stop everything and just take it all in.
Oh, yeah.
Much needed.
It was because it's a private beach. It wasn't crowded. It was just, and we spent most of the time at home because we had a pool. At home, and the kids just loved it, so it was nice. Yes. Okay, so everyone, welcome to Tea Time with Dr. Iyabo. My name is Dr. Iyabo Webzel. I was telling you that I got married. I know I'm 50 years old, but I got married the second time in April of this year on Zoom to my honey, Neil Webzel, and we have 4 kids now. So I have 2 daughters, and he's gifted me with 2 lovely sons, 2 stepsons. And I'm a board-certified pediatrician. I'm a physician entrepreneur, which means I own and run my practice. And I want to convert every woman into being an entrepreneur. I know it's not going to happen, but I'm going to try my best to do it.
Nothing's impossible. Yes. Never say never.
I know. I'm a lifestyle coach and business coach for women. I'm also a speaker like I'm doing now. And I'm an author. I have 1 published book on Amazon, and I'm a blogger. So that's me in a nutshell. But I really wanted to do this show because, again, I'm very spiritual, I'm very intuitive, and I just feel that a lot of people I hear from are really looking at the pandemic in too much of a negative light. And I know it is a negative time. I don't want to even downplay that at all. I have to be sensitive because honestly, about 220,000 people have passed away from this in America alone. And it's just a devastating time. It is, and definitely my heart and my prayers, peace, everything go out to the families that have lost loved ones. We do. This is not, it hasn't been an easy time for anyone at all. Many people have lost their jobs. Many people have been laid off. So it's really been a difficult time. But because of my spiritual nature, even since the pandemic started, I knew that there was more to the pandemic than meets the eye. I honestly feel that it's a major shift that is happening in the world. And I believe that it's going to lead to greater things. I know many people are going to go with it, but I want to make sure that I do my part in helping women realize that there's more to this pandemic than meets the eye. So you can be saying things like, oh, it's been such a stressful time. Or you can be saying that, oh, God, I'm so happy for this shift, because if this shift didn't happen, I wouldn't have the time for this. And like I said in one of my posts, honestly, aside from my wedding, I can honestly tell you guys that from the beginning of this year to now has been one of my most productive years so far. It has. and I can share some parts about it later to you. But life has its ups and downs, so I want to equip every woman, if I can, woman in my radar, that no matter what's going on, if you equip yourself with a profession and a passion that is everlasting, that is evergreen, that you know that people will always want, and you do it in a way that you can, how would I put it, that you can kind of just shift with the times. Like, I'm a doctor, but because I had set up my practice and I had moved myself away from my practice, and I just work on my practice and not in my practice, I was ready for the pandemic, even though I didn't know the pandemic was coming. So yeah, but that's me. There's a lot more I want to share with you, but I'm going to have Monica introduce herself, talk to you about how she's shifted her blogging and her business in this pandemic and how she's still thriving. Because we didn't talk about this, but I can see that you're thriving. So tell us.
All right. Hey guys, what's up? I'm Monica. If you're not following my blog or Instagram, it's Odd by Madi. I've been.
You know what, Monica? Somebody said the sound is bad. Is it my voice or Monica's voice?
I'm not sure. Let me see.
Can you hear me well, Monica, or is it echoing? Guys, can you tell me, is it my voice that is echoing or is it Monica's voice? Please tell us so that we can try to fix it.
Exactly. Can you guys hear me?
Can you guys hear us? It's not Monica. So is it my voice that is echoing?
Okay, she said it's not Monica.
Oh, I think it's good now. They said earlier.
Okay, perfect. Good. All right. So, yes, I have been a fashion blogger for it'll be 8 years next month. And I've been doing this full time 4 years. Yeah, it's been 4 years now. And yeah, I would say I'm really fortunate to be able to do what I absolutely love. I'm always busy, just like Doc said. But yeah, it's, there's something about when you're able to do something you absolutely love, the busy part is so irrelevant. But yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to have this conversation with you. For me, I can start going off on tangents, so I'm trying to keep it to a minimum until you ask the question. So
no, but I do the same. So say what comes to mind. I do that too. I just talk and I keep babbling.
Do you want me to just jump right into the whole discussion and everything?
Yes, okay. Jump right in. Yes.
Okay. So for me, with the pandemic and everything, when it first started, I would say, I would say earlier this year, obviously, when we started hearing about it in China and whatnot, no one ever thought it would be this, or would have this much of an impact, or, the way it's being handled. It would been handled in a way where, it would literally bring everything to a halt. So I would say in the beginning, definitely that fear was kind of everywhere, but at the same time, it was one of those things where, at least for me personally, I came to the realization that, things might be a little different, work might not be coming in as often, the collaborations might not be rolling in, but it's okay. For me, I think at an early age, my parents have kind of trained me to just be thankful for everything. So for me, in every situation, I'm always grateful. I've tried to make sure I'm that way, and I try to, teach my kids. Oh, I have 2 kids and a husband, so yeah, I forgot to throw that in. But yeah, just kind of, growing up that way and trying to live that way, I was content with the fact that, it's been a great start to the year. So if nothing else happens, I thank God for what the year had presented already. And for that first month of April, it was just really dead. I wasn't getting collaborations. And nothing was really happening. There was just a lot of fear, the pandemic with, the outbreak of the virus, and then the social injustice and all the chaos going around. But I decided to actually use the opportunity to kind of bring on another endeavor. And I started, I've always had a YouTube channel, but I decided to kind of just dive in and just focus on the YouTube channel and start growing it. And then it's funny, right after the month of April, my business started picking up. It was literally crazy. First of all, YouTube started. I literally started with like 400 followers on YouTube.
Yes.
Instagram and my blog have always been my focus. And then because I've never really paid attention to YouTube, and then now, you know, we're getting close to 8,000. And it's just grown. That platform has grown, which is kind of, you know, just made a full circle, you know, pushing new traffic to my blog, pushing new traffic to Instagram. And in its sense, that business, literally it was like starting a new business for me, and that business has grown exponentially, and it's affected my other businesses in terms of just having that one-on-one conversation with the viewer, with the audience. And at the same time, the next month, right after April, you know, my collaboration started, you know, rolling in. Literally, like, I was able to double last year's income in June, you know.
Wow.
And it's this year, the numbers are astronomical. But, you know, even with the success, I think the reason why there is this much success is because the world, as we know, is changing. This pandemic has, you know, brought on so many different scenarios that no one could have predicted. And also with the fact that I am a fashion and lifestyle blogger, my job really is to encourage people to, you know, shop online or to create an online community. And we already started seeing the shift with a lot of brick and mortar closing down. People weren't really buying the way they used to. Habits were changing already. And I think this pandemic just really expedited that situation. So, you know, now you have this pandemic where contact literally could be deadly. You know, we've seen so many lives lost here in the States as well as around the world. So, you know, this pandemic really shifted people's shopping habits and pushed people more towards people like me who encourage online shopping, who encourage an online community. So that's why, you know, I really feel life as we know it it's changing. And, you know, what will life look like after COVID? It's definitely not going to be the same, you know? Yeah. And it is very interesting because, you know, even though things have shifted and even though there's been so much uncertainty, you know, in the midst of all this chaos, this has definitely been the most productive year of my whole career. And I'm so thankful for it, you know, because I know that's not the situation for everybody. But at the same time, I think what a situation like this tells us is that, you know, first of all, we have to be grateful. This is my spiritual, you know, that's coming in too. You have to be grateful to God. We're alive. We have health. You know, so how do we impact the people around us? How do we create positive environments? How do we, you know, give people some kind of relief from all the chaos and all the anxiety and everything else being created? So I think, you know, even there's so many shifts, but we all just have to see the positive. We have to be grateful. We have to live knowing that we are blessed regardless of the negativity around us. And we just have to push forward. We have to pay attention to, you know, what God, or in the path God leads us towards. So, and just, you know, kind of go with that.
Wow. So I hope you guys got all that. So many nuggets. I was trying to write everything, but yes, this is a perfect example. And this is why I really, really wanted to do this. And I hope that more people will watch the replay, because I hear too many women, and because my work is with women, I hear too many women say that they're waiting for the pandemic to be over.
Oh, no.
You know, oh, when will this be over? I just can't wait for it to be over so I can go back to life as normal. Oh, I just can't wait. You have to shift with the shifts. You have to, even though I'm not in the age group of a lot of the women that contact me, like I say all the time, the women I hear from most, the ones I coach the most, are in their 30s. There are a few in late 20s, but mostly 30s. There's a few 40s here and there. But if you're waiting for the pandemic to be over next year, or you're waiting for the vaccine, you can get back to life as normal, you may be shocked. Again, I'm not God, but very spiritual, and I do get quiet a lot. And I let God just talk to me and saturate my mind with things. And I read a lot, and I just believe that this is an opportune time. So people are missing out on the opportunities that are out there now, because there's so many people that are glued to their devices. You know, and this is why your business is doing well, because you've already gone into the online business before this happened. So you were above of the shifts before the shifts started shifting. But it's our responsibility now, and I say it's our responsibility because I believe that's what we're all here for, and I want to take as many women with me possible to change the lives of other women. So I did this with Alex. I was going to call FW Style again. I call her brand name. So I did this with Alexandria the other day, and everybody comes back telling me, oh, they love the video, they learned so much. And now I'm here with you because I want to awaken so many women who just love being in their little normal life with their family and their little normal old life as usual, and they're not shifting with the times. And this is me. I've always been. Is that one of your kids?
Yes. Bye-bye.
That's fine. I'm always thinking of the next way to do something better. I'm always, so this is why that I don't want to say I'm a jack of all trades, but I make sure I finish one project and I finish it to success before I pick up other things. But just like Monica was saying that she already had her business in the digital space, and then during the pandemic, her business has doubled or tripled. Same thing with me. In March and April, I was sitting down thinking, oh my goodness, my practice, nobody's coming in. Everything has crashed, you know, because literally patients were not coming in. I had to tell my staff that then I think in March, I reduced my hours from 8 to 5. And I told the staff, we're only going to do 3 half days a week. And they were all good. They all hung in there with me. They said, it's fine, Dr. O. They call me Dr. O in my medical ward. And they're like, it's fine. But by April, patients started coming back in. And now we're at the point where we're even almost busier than we were before the pandemic, because a lot of practices did not put the manpower in place to be able to cope with a pandemic like this. So many pediatric offices have closed down because they just couldn't handle the change and the shifts and everything. But because I was already working more on my practice, I had already shifted away from being the doctor running around seeing the patients. I was mostly managing my practice. I hired doctors and nurse practitioners and staff, and I was writing and blogging and doing these other things. I was able to stay home and think about business solutions to help me get my practice back up. So I was posting on Google, I was writing things on my Google page, I was calling some patients here and there. So I was thinking of solutions on how I could get the patients back. I was doing telemedicine at home. And luckily for us with the pandemic, finally the government and Medicaid and Medicare started paying us for telemedicine. So I started doing telemedicine at home. So because I was already used to looking at my practice from up, down, I could stay home and just think of solutions rather than the doctors who are the ones who are the doctor who sees the patients, they are the manager, they are the biller, they are the, you know. So my practice has soared. And then I had my wedding on Zoom and I went from 5,000 followers on Instagram to like 12,000 followers. And I'm thinking, you know, honestly, we were really disappointed that we couldn't go to England, to the countryside to have our wedding. But we quickly shifted. And my husband and I said, you know what? I'm 50, you're 57. We're not waiting till the pandemic is over. Exactly. We're going to do this on Zoom. And Zoom brought me so much exposure on social media that I wasn't even expecting. So this is how you have to shift with the shifts. If your mentality is always, I can't wait to go back, I can't wait to go back, and you're not open to shifting. We're not saying you should change who you are, but you have to be able to, like Americans like to say, pivot. I'm not really used to that word. I'm more used to shifting or recalibrating or resetting your life. Then you're going to stay stuck. So there's many, I can keep going. This is something I can keep telling you for the next 4 hours about all the things that have come to me during this pandemic. So many offers. And then I started doing this tea time show. And then now there's so many people coming to me that they want me to be the face of this, or they want me to write an article here and there. So you have to be able to understand how to put yourself in the middle of your real passions. And a lot of my doctor friends miss out on this. A lot of physicians and dentists think that being a doctor is actually their life purpose. For some of us, it is. But actually, for many doctors, being a doctor isn't your life purpose. It's not. I believe that God started me off as a doctor, but being a doctor wasn't really my life purpose. My God intended for me to be a healer and a change maker, but He knew that He would start me off as being a doctor, and then my path will evolve into something else. So, my next question for you, Monica, is how has your path evolved? Where did you start from, and how did you get here? And where would you like to get to? So if you can just tell us what your path has been so we can learn from that.
All right. Wow. That's a good question. So for me, I would say I started obviously with school education. I studied sociology and mass communication. And in my head, I was like, I'm going to be on the news and I'm going to be, this great communicator. And then I kind of actually, no, let me take it back a little bit further. So I've always been blessed with the ability to draw and art. Art has been another passion of mine. I don't have any of my art in my home right now just because of my color palette, but that's my first passion, still is. So in my head, I was going to be an artist. Then it shifted to an architect. Then I started making clothes from scratch. And I was like, oh, I'm going to be a designer. And then that shifted. And I kind of had this passion for communication and just people in general. So it was like, okay, newscasting, so my journeys have shifted. But while I was in school, studying sociology and mass communication, I figured I wanted to mesh my love. So my passion being fashion. I started working in fashion, just watching my mom growing up and just watching her sew for my sister and I kind of created that passion and love for fashion. So I started drawing my own, I would say my own patterns and making clothes from scratch. So that's kind of where my passion for fashion started. And then my love for people and just being around and talking and all of that. So I was like, how do I mix the two? But yes, so while in school, I had a job in luxury retail, and I loved that. So I created that passion there. And then, schooling. So I was like, well, maybe if I teach fashion at, the higher education level, that could be another option. Yeah. So, in my head, I was going to teach fashion. But that never happened. I'm not that patient.
But I think you're kind of doing that now, though.
And that's the thing. And this is how, things evolve. So, I did work luxury retail for almost 20 years, and, I made a career out of it. And I was very successful at what I did. And it got to a point where, even with the success and even after leaving, because I'm from Toronto and, I was working in Toronto, then I left, married my husband, he's American. So I moved here, and kind of got back into luxury retail again. And then I would say maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, things just weren't working out. And what I had always been comfortable in started becoming uncomfortable, and I do believe that God throws signs in your way. So it's a matter of if you're going to pay attention or not. Yes. And at the same time has, what used to be a comfortable situation at work started becoming uncomfortable. My blogging, which I was just doing on the side, but I was doing it relentlessly. I didn't give myself the excuse that, I have a full-time job, I can't really, create content or whatever. I was still, creating posts during my lunch breaks or, whenever I had free time, or I would go home and I would start working. And, for me, being humble and just asking people to follow me or check me out or see what I'm doing, even people that didn't have social media or didn't have any kind of, the gadgets or devices, I would take people's phones and like, follow my blog. And, how do I follow it? I'll show you, so it was just one of those things where I was telling everybody about what I was doing. So as that was, growing, and my work job was becoming uncomfortable, I got at the time, my biggest offer, a really a really amazing brand reached out and they're like, we want you to be our ambassador. And then not that many people were really making money in the space and not that many people were blogging.
Yes.
And, you know, they were like, we're going to fly you to New York. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And I was just like, me? Why? You know?
Yeah.
But, you know, at the same time, I was just like, oh, sure, of course, me. Why not me?
Yes.
So, and then they asked my rate and I didn't even know how to charge myself. Like, I didn't know what to charge because it was just so, it was at the time still a very new space. So I
Right.
asked my sister, who's in corporate retail, and she was just like, think of your highest number ever, you know, and just throw it at them. And I
Yes.
did. And they accepted it without no counters, nothing.
Wow.
She's like, you
Really?
know, yeah, she said, you know, that you got lowballed, right? I was like, yeah, I bet I did. But that was just another sign, you know, for me
Mhm.
that, you know what, I think now is the time. So
Yeah.
after that happened, I took a leap of faith. I was just like, God, you know, you got this. You know, I won't lie. I had hives for the first month, literally,
Yeah.
but best decision of my life, you know, just taking that leap of faith and diving in and blogging full time. You know, it started with fashion, which is my absolute passion. But then I took that passion and used it to create this brand that has now done phenomenally well. I've been really blessed to work with dream brands, my favorite brands. I continue to work with my favorite brands. I just posted something today in partnership with J. Crew. And you
Yeah,
know,
look.
I
Yes.
noticed.
J. Crew
Very
earrings.
nice, very nice.
In
Yes.
fact, I think this scarf is also J. Crew.
Oh, very, very nice.
I
I love
think it
it.
is. I
I
think it
love it. It's
is.
very pretty. I noticed it. Very
Thanks.
nice.
I think it's J. Crew.
There
Yeah.
you go. But, you know, just being able to share my passion for fashion, my passion for life, being able to write about the things I love, being able to, you know, make people happy, even if it's just through fashion or through little things has been really has been a huge blessing. But moving on and looking forward, someone sent me a meme earlier today saying that, you know, in 2015, I'm sure, you know, when they asked you, what do you see your, you know, your life being in the next 5 years? I'm sure no one predicted this is what their next 5 years would be. So, you know,
Yes.
and I said that, you know, for me, when people ask me, what do you see yourself doing in the next 5 years? I always chuckle inside because I said, I really believe we have no control whatsoever really of
No.
what happens in the next 5 years. You know,
Yes.
anything can happen. So for me, I continue to walk and I try to listen and pay attention to the direction God puts me in. And I try to work as hard as possible and work towards the goals or just work towards what I feel is an overall benefit to my brand. I have so many ideas and so many things that I want to do, but I don't believe in saying like, this is what it's going to be because for me, I'm one of those people that I get devastated when things don't work the way I want them to work. So I have to be very
Me
realistic to
too.
myself.
Yeah.
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 You know, I have to be realistic to myself. How do I protect my chi per
Yes.
se, you
Yeah.
know? So I believe in working very hard, trying to work as smart as possible, surround yourself with people who are like-minded, who will help you propel forward, and try and create safeguards for things that might not happen and always be content, always be grateful and know that, you know what, even though it might not happen the exact way you wanted to, but as long as you pay attention to what's going on around you and you're willing to adopt, success will be there regardless. So I've learned with this pandemic more than anything, and I've always believed in this, especially in my business. It's constantly changing. It's so
Yeah.
new, but you have to be ready to adopt. You have to be ready
Yes.
to go with the flow, and you can't be
Yes.
stiff. You can't be like, this is how it's supposed to be done. This is
Mm.
what fashion. No, there's no such thing anymore.
Yes.
These platforms have given us all. Well, these social media platforms has given us all platforms of our own to determine what direction, but we at the same time, even though we are creating our own platforms, we have to pay attention to what's going on around us and try and just, you know, maneuver or mold our brand into what's going on around us and then propel forward.
Wow. Thank you, Monica. All this is gold, and I'm going to repeat all of them. We have to be grateful and content. We
Yeah.
have to just walk in God's will. We have to listen to God. We have to pay attention to the direction He's leading us in. We have to
Mhm.
work hard.
Yes.
Okay, guys? Hard work always leads to success.
Yeah.
I say this all the time. Some people are like, oh, I've been working hard, working hard. it may be the way you're packaging it and you're delivering it. There's hard work and then there's hard work. Sometimes I'm more productive in just 2 hours of my day than some days where I feel like I'm working 8 or 10 hours. So you have to work hard, but you have to do it strategically. Surround yourself with like-minded people. That one is key with us women. We surround ourselves with people who tell us it's too hard, don't do it, don't listen to them. They were just lucky. It's because she's a doctor. It's because Monica's mom was a designer. That's why she could do it. It's because she was born and bred in Canada. That's why she could do. Oh, I don't listen to Dr. Iyabo. It's because her you know, you have to take all that noise out. If I listened to the noise 16 years ago, I wouldn't have started my practice because 99% of people told me not to do it. Honestly, I was like, you know, I've been dreaming of having my own practice. I've been wanting to have my own business. I was born into an entrepreneurial family. Both my parents were successful business people. They were not doctors, but I wanted to be like them because they worked hard few hours of the day and then they were home and they made all this money. And I'm like, I want to do it. And I got to Atlanta and everybody was like, don't do it. All businesses fail. All medical practices fail. All small, you know, I'm telling you. And then at the time, my husband then, he was also thinking, are you sure we should do this? Because we started the practice together. And I'm like, I'm going to do it because my dad was still in my ear saying, Iyabo, just do it. So I worked with a private practice. And I was only there for 9 months. I planned to work there for 2 years. And when I resigned after 9 months, the owner of the practice, when we did my exit interview, she said, when I interviewed you, I knew you were very ambitious and I knew you weren't going. She said, I'm even surprised you stayed 9 months. She said, I know you're going to go and you're going to go and set up your own practice and I wish you the best. And that's what I did. When I resigned, I didn't know what I knew I wanted to practice, but I didn't have a site yet. I didn't have anything put in place. So when I resigned, it took me 15 months to actually start my own practice. So I started reading books. I started researching. I was looking for mentors all around. Everybody was still saying, don't do it. A lot of practices will, you know, they all like collapse within 5 years, especially if they're small practices, don't do it. And then I had to take out this big loan. And the few friends I asked, they were like, don't, you know, but I'm glad I did. And I shut out the noise. But too many people listen to the noise and they don't listen to God's voice and God's whispers and the real. I call my dad my business coach. Thank God for my dad. He was the one that kept saying, do it, Iyabo. It's not a big loan. I know you're hardworking. I know my daughter. I know you'll be able to. My mom was kind of like iffy when she heard I was going to take out $350K loan. She was like, that's a lot in dollars. Are you sure? My dad said, I trust my daughter. She will pay it off. And he told me how I should do it, you know, once the profits start coming in. And within 4 years, I paid it all off. So if I had listened to people then, I wouldn't have a business now that is generating money without me being there 100% of the time. So a lot of us women just get drowned out by the noise and then we get soaked and drowned out in fear. And a lot of us call ourselves Christians, but we actually don't listen to God's word. We listen to the words of humans. So if you really know that you're Christian, read the word. I read the word every day and God tells me that there's so much he has planned for me. It's like when I'm reading the Bible, I'm thinking, I just focus that God is having a conversation with me and he's telling me that I'm going to do signs and wonders and I'm going to do this and I'm, you know, so this is what we have to start doing, women. We have to start, and you heard Monica, she used the word passion many times. As I say in my blogs and in my posts and everything, passion will lead to profits. If you're not passionate about what you're doing, you will not get profits. You will not. So you really have to. There's some people on this post that are rude. I don't know how to get them off.
I'm like, what is going on? I think ignoring.
I don't know where are they from. They must be from your page, Monica.
I don't know.
But please, the people who are on here, just ignore them and let's focus on what we're doing. But yes, so if you're not passionate about what you're doing, you're not going to get profit. So women, you have to Do whatever you're doing, you have to do it passionately, and you have to look for one or two, three at the most. Three, that's the maximum. Advisors or coaches or parents or somebody that you know is actually experienced and skilled in entrepreneurship. That's my advice to you, but you know, you can, it's up to you how you want to do it. But if you don't get somebody who's actually skilled in the business world to advise you, like my dad, at that point, I did pay for a lot of medical expert advice, but the real business advice I got was from my dad, who was, you know, a real experienced business person. So that's what I did. I listened to him, and that's why I'm here today. And then from my practice, I've gone into my creativity, writing books, which is also passive income. You know, I work for Flow Health, which is kind of passive income because I just edit all those articles at home. But please, women, we have what, less than 3 months to the end of this year. Yes, I want you to enjoy the journey. I want you to have fun, being passionate about your creativity. But when you're talking about the pandemic, yes, pray for the people who've lost loved ones and pray that it goes away quickly, but stop postponing your happiness, your fulfillment, and your financial freedom until the pandemic is over. Some people are saying the pandemic is going to be over in 2 years. Some say 5 years. I don't know how to block these people if we're on live. How do we do it,
I
Monica?
don't know. I was asking too. I was asking how to. I don't know. I haven't done a. I don't do lives quite often.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
how to do it from live. I think we just have to ignore them. I
Mm-hmm.
don't, yeah, because if we can block each of them, they're just, you know, this is again something, what's actually happening now is really good business advice. Women, as you go through life and as you go through your personal, professional lives, you have a high level of emotional intelligence. You have
Okay.
to,
So,
because
Doc,
people
sorry to cut you off. So you can Wumi just said if you click on their comments, then block them. So you can click.
uh-huh.
You would have to do it. Just click on their comments and then block them. So if you see anyone being rude,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so keep talking. Once start talking, let me deal with all that. If you can you start
Sorry,
giving us, they're distracting us. We have 15 more minutes. So if you
I
can let
know.
women know, just
Okay.
give them some tips on entrepreneurship.
Tips on entrepreneur. So much. First of all, you have to invest in your business. In the beginning, I've always kind of felt like, okay, how do I grow my business? What do I need to do? How do I make it better? And I think even when I didn't have a lot of money to put in the business, I've always thought that way. I think about what I do. First of all, it is a passion. Like people who know me and people who follow me know that I am truly passionate about fashion. And I think to be a blogger or to be a social media influencer and to really grow, just like you said, there has to be passion. You have to be passionate about it. I feel like in this day and age, people can kind of read through the BS because there's so many people that just want to enter the space and they want to become authorities on things that they don't know about. And people can read right through that just because there are so many people in this space. So you have to invest, number one, in you. First of all, you have to be passionate about it, number one. And then invest in that space, invest in things that will help you grow, and invest in things that will help you be able to deliver your message. Me being that, fashion is pretty much my job. Investing in my job wasn't so hard for me in terms of just, keeping up with fashion. But then fashion is one part of it. I also needed to know how to build every aspect of this business because being a social media influencer or a blogger or content creator is not just about pictures. If only if it was just about the pictures and the videos and just the end product. I always tell people who try to figure out what do you do, basically what I do is a different form of marketing. And for me, I'm just very fortunate that I can actually take things that I use on a regular basis, brands that I actually love, and share it with people. So I'm able to give my honest opinion. I've also been doing this for so long that I can turn brands down. I was just having this conversation this past week. I had to turn down multiple 5-figure collaborations for just, one post. But also that didn't happen overnight. That happened with me investing in my equipment, me learning how to take pictures, even for myself. When there's no photographers, how am I going to get this done? When a brand's deadline or a brand sending me product to shoot and to come up with a day, I have to submit on Tuesday, and it goes. Most people will say, "Oh, there's no way I can make that happen." You best believe I'm going to make it happen. I might be pissed off, but I will make it happen. And I can do that because I have invested in this company. I've invested in tools that will ensure that I can make that happen. I invest my time, and I try to find a balance with home life and work life, which is very hard when you're in social media because it just really never ends. But yeah, it's just a matter of investing in your brand and your craft. Sometimes it's going to be hard. When I started, I didn't have 3 cameras. Now I have 3 cameras. Now I have multiple tripods. Now I have multiple equipment to ensure that I'm delivering the kind of content that will live on billboards or that will live in magazines or on websites for major brands. And that's why, I've been able to work with a lot of these major companies, and they use my images or, use my campaigns or use my ideas for their campaigns. So I would say that would probably just kind of, to not take up all the time, but just investing in your brand, looking for ways to grow, doing your research, doing as much research as possible. I know research for me sometimes is hard because I'm using so much time to create, but just paying attention and listening and keeping in mind what's around you and just working towards being the best you or delivering the best product. I kind of take this from the Bible, and I think about this with everything. So with anything you do, no matter what it is, no matter what job it is, do it to the best of your ability. So for me, as an influencer, even if the brand is like, oh my God, we love it, if I don't love it, it's just, that it's something that truly bothers me. And I don't know whether that translates to the brands or whatnot, or why I've been able to successfully do this for so long and continue to excel, because of the passion, number one, and what I put into it. So I would say, do your research, put your passion in there, deliver 110% every time, and don't settle for less.
Yes, perfect. Excellence is the word that I picked out from this. Excellence and evolving. So when you first started, I'm sure you were not at this stage, but you've been improving.
It was so bad.
Yes, you've been improving, but then
Absolutely.
how have you been improving? By research, and how else? How have you been able to adapt to what's going on and improve what you're delivering? How have you been able to do that?
I've been able to improve by just literally, well, I would say, first of all, with YouTube, because it is a totally new platform for me. And people who go on my page are like, why are we just finding you? And I'm like, because I'm just here. I just got on it. Even though I've been on it, I've had my YouTube page for years, but I didn't know what kind of content people wanted. I didn't know what people were talking about. I thought all people wanted to see was just, oh, we went to Fashion Week and that was it, I didn't know that there was a world of everything on YouTube. Like, I never used to watch YouTube. I wasn't a YouTuber or a YouTube watcher or, so I think I first of all started by asking questions to my friends who actually watched YouTube. What did you want to see? So I have one of my friends, I call her my YouTube whisperer, my YouTube advisor, just because she watches YouTube. And I'm like, so, because in my head, I was doing what I thought, but I wasn't growing. That's why I just kind of left it. I was just like, oh, whenever I have a video, I'll just put it up there, But then just paying attention and doing the research and finding out that you have to be consistent. You have to listen to what people want. People don't just want to see this, or they really don't even care who you are. Because on this platform, you are a new person. So at the same time, you have to almost humble yourself to pay attention, and then to research what people want. Ask questions, ask your audience. I would actually come on Instagram every now and then and ask people, what do you want to see? Even though the Instagram audience is very different from the YouTube audience. But there was no harm in asking, because then I was able to do that full circle. So now I'm able to transition my YouTube audience to my Instagram audience, and then to my blog audience, and, in that circle. Oh, thanks, love. But yes, it's kind of, that has been my research, really asking questions. laughing at myself. It's accepting that it's not perfect. In March, April, when I started, the videos were horrible. And, I would cringe watching myself. But even though I didn't like them, because in my head, I wouldn't say I like to compare, but this is something that I learned when I was in retail. You always have to shop the competition. And I'm not in competition with anybody. I only took that advice I took it as you have to pay attention to what's going on around you.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't necessarily comparing yourself to others is a recipe for disaster, but paying attention to what was going on around you. So just by doing that, I feel like that really helped me excel and move forward in that new space. Then in my old space being Instagram, which, I feel like I've been doing that forever, but paying attention to the fact that there's now an algorithm, paying attention to the fact that just engaging and responding to compliments wasn't enough. Switching up the imagery that, I was putting out, all of that was just kind of like, in a sense, you have to step back and humble yourself a little bit and just really paying attention to what is doing well on the platforms you are sharing your information, because there are so many platforms out there right now, and every platform is different. I also have a strategic manager, and, she would say that, what works for Instagram is not necessarily works for YouTube, nor does it work for your website, nor does it work for your newsletter. No. So there's just so many different facets. And even though right now I'm a one-man show, because I don't have a personal assistant right now, I've still made it work. Sometimes I feel like I'm drowning, but you have to make it work. There's just, I'll complain. Yeah, I'll complain every now and then to my sister, and she's just like, I don't want to hear it. I don't care. Nobody cares. And that's what I said. You have to surround yourself with people who will give you the reality checks. You have the option of saying no to business if you want to say no. And if you don't want to say no, then you tough it up and get it done. Because at the end of the day, your audience doesn't really care. Your clients don't care. So, and if you want to excel,
you just have to get it done.
You have to get it done. So,
and you have a strategic manager, right? Even though you're saying you're a one-man person now, I'm sure you have some experts around you that help, because what you're putting out there is not just you alone. So that's what I want people to understand, that sometimes you do have to talk to experts. Sometimes you have to hire good, well-trained experts to help you with what you're doing. So like I posted a few days ago, a lot of us women like cheap stuff. We like, free stuff. Cheap and free stuff isn't going to get you excellence. So if you're looking for cheap, free stuff, or you want to do everything by yourself, you're not hiring some experts or a strategic manager, like you said, it's not, you're always going to put out mediocre things. So that's why I like to bring out high achieving women on my show, to show women that there's a path and there's a process to getting to where people land. It's not because of some reasons in your head. It's not because people will make up the reason in their head why this person is successful.
Absolutely.
For me, the reason people say, oh, it's because she's a doctor. And I'm thinking to myself, but not every doctor is financially free. So if that was it, then why are so many doctors burnt out? I'm not burnt out. People ask me, I had a Zoom show the other day with a lady I was talking to about an opportunity. And I told her everything I said. And she said, how are you still so calm and you don't look tired and you do all these things? I said, because I don't do it all by myself. I said, even sometimes when I have errands to run, I call, a few of my I have a few, I call them personal assistants, and they'll come and grab the stuff and take it to my office or help me go shopping. It's a little investment.
You have to give me pointers on how to hire the perfect personal assistant. I need that.
Oh, you have to. You have to have helpers. And it's not like I pay them that much. I don't, for things that are not highly skilled, and I say this with all due respect, even the women that I hire at $15 an hour, I always tell them to make sure they aspire for more. So you don't have to pay a lot for people who help you run your errands. Sometimes I need something from farmers market and I don't want to go. My husband doesn't want to go. My daughter is busy with homework, and I'll call one of them and give them a list and they'll get it for me. But women want to be the jack of all trades. They want to do the home life. They want to do the errands. They want to set up their business. And they don't want to pay for good things. And then they burn out because they have zero self-care. And then they put out the business on social media. And you're thinking, you're not going to make a cent from this because it looks mediocre. So again, I'm not trying to put anybody down, but you have to look for excellence and you have to put these things into practice. So now let me ask you this, Monica. I know your job is demanding, but do you ever feel burnt out? Do you ever feel, but I know you feel tired, but do you ever feel burnt out?
Yes.
And you can be honest with us.
I'll be very honest. I have no shame. Yes, I feel burnt out on a regular basis. Well, but honestly, I have to say I'm doing a better job. And I do, this is another thing I believe. I feel like sometimes you have to hit that, I wouldn't say rock bottom per se, but you have to hit the wall and slam into it to realize that, you know what, you cannot do it all. So yes, I have a strategic manager. Yes, I have an agent. And yes, I have people that I can go to, you know, to ask for assistance. And, you know, my husband helps every now and then when he can. But still have things are not going the way I want them to go, or you know, I take a lot of time to create a content calendar and to create multiple calendars to try and be ahead of things. But once one thing doesn't go in place and everything starts to fall apart, it can be extremely overwhelming. And that was my last month. I had that moment, you know, towards the end of the month, every day had sponsored content.
And
Monica,
it became we only have 2 more minutes. Do you have to go now, or can we do like 15 more minutes?
Oh, I'm fine. Today's I'm in my loungewear.
So let me do this. Let me stop this and let's restart. And I promise I'll only keep you for 15 or 20 more minutes.
Oh, that's fine.
So yeah, I don't want us to lose this. So please, everybody, come back and invite your friends to join us.
Okay, perfect. I'll be back.
We'll be right back.
More.
Okay.
All right. Okay.